Hi, I'm Dr. K, and in this video I'm going to share with you some great news about weight loss for women over 40. Now, you may or may not know that at my weight loss clinic, which I've been running for the last 14 years, I only see women over 40. I don't see anyone else. And usually when they come to see me, they are absolutely fed up with dieting. They've been dieting for years, not getting anywhere, and they feel out of control with their eating. And what I do is help them to take control of their eating and lose weight in a way that they can sustain for life. And so I'm going to share with you some of the insights I've had over the years that really help to explain some of the common frustrations many of my clients have had with losing weight after 40. And later I'll talk about what they did to solve these problems. So first off, the reality. So imagine a woman over 40 who decides to lose weight. What would they be advised to do? Generally, it would be start an exercise plan and go on a diet. This is pretty standard. But let's look at the reality of this standard approach and how it plays out for women over 40. Exercise. So this is a big one. Women over 40 in general cannot rely on exercise alone for weight loss. You may have had this experience yourself. You started a really intense exercise program with a personal trainer, and despite your better judgment to run away from it screaming, you stuck to the program day after day, maybe even for months. But at the end of it, how much weight did you lose? Often the result of this will be no weight lost. I've heard this story so many times from so many different clients. Now I have to say here, and this is important, I'm not saying you shouldn't exercise. Heaven forbid. Exercise is good for you for so many reasons, physical and mental health. I strongly encourage all my clients to incorporate physical activity into their lives. But the fact is, when it comes to weight loss, exercise really doesn't help much. And it can be so depressing and demoralizing if you were expecting the pounds to melt off. But as they say, you can't outrun a poor diet. And this is especially true for women over 40. And it's important to know this because you could waste years of your life frustrated because your exercise regime hasn't got you anywhere. Number 2, diets. Many of my clients will describe being in their 20s, picking a diet, any diet, and being able to lose 10 pounds in a week. In fact, if it didn't deliver 10 pounds in a week, they thought something was wrong with it. But after 40, these diets stop working as well, even the old reliable ones. After 40, if you lose 10 pounds in a week, you'd assume a part of your body had fallen off. The fact is, after 40, diets do not deliver quick weight loss. And this can also be very frustrating if that's your expectation. Okay, I'm really sorry for all that bad news, but now let's get to the good news. So you might be rueing the fact that you can no longer rely on quick fix diets to lose weight quickly. But the reality is that these drastic diets, as alluring as they are, come with a huge cost. And the fact that you can't do them anymore is actually great news because it comes with a very big opportunity. In the past, you might have been able to starve yourself for a week and lose lots of weight, but most people can't stick to these diets for very long. And what happens when you come off the harsh diet? You go back to normal eating and gain back the weight. Hello, yo-yo dieting. 25-year-olds who rely on quick fix diets are going through this yo-yo constantly. And the worst part, often each time they lose weight and gain it back, especially as the years go by, they're gaining a little bit more weight than when they started. But for most people, even though they know yo-yo dieting is not working and actually making them gain weight over the long term, they'll still choose to lose 10 pounds in a week compared to doing something that fixes the problem for good. Because we're all impatient, it's human nature. And this is where your advantage lies because after 40, the equation changes. Gradually, these diets stop working, so you won't be able to turn to crash dieting because it doesn't work anymore. And it's genuinely the greatest opportunity ever because now you have the chance to sort out this problem once and for all. And I've seen this difference in my clients. I've seen clients who tell me candidly that before 40, they wouldn't have had the patience or focus to think about long-term weight loss. They were still addicted to the quick fix. But after 40, they're forced to reconsider, how do I solve this once and for all? It's great news because they can end up solving the problem in a sustainable way. So this brings up the question, if you want to lose weight and keep it off after 40, what should you do instead of dieting? Well, here's a cheat sheet of 6 things to do. Number 1, think long term. Only do things you're willing to do for the rest of your life. If you don't think you can drink shakes for the rest of your life, then don't do a shakes diet. When you start thinking like this, you immediately realize that more than half of the diets, maybe even all the diets you ever went on had no prospect for long-term success. Number 2, most people who've been trying to lose weight for a long time eventually realize the problem is never about the food. It's about what's going on in your head that stops you from losing weight. You could be given the perfect meal plan and still not be able to stick to it. Don't expect a meal plan to rescue you. Instead, change your relationship with food. Number 3, prioritize changing your habits. As weird as this sounds, think less about losing weight and more about changing behavior. If you lose 10 pounds on a diet, you could gain it all back a few weeks later. But if you change your habits, you'll lose weight and keep it off. So prioritize changing habits. Number 4, stop thinking of food as good and bad. As soon as something is forbidden, you want it more. If you went to buy something at a shop and they said you weren't allowed to buy it, it would make you want it more. When you make certain foods forbidden, this creates deprivation and cravings, and this makes you more likely to overeat or binge. Number 5, connect with your natural feelings of hunger and fullness. Rather than rely on willpower to cut back eating, let your body's natural signals do the work for you. Number 6, make small changes. Instead of making drastic changes to your eating overnight, focus on small, incremental changes each day and each week. Build on top of the changes you've already made. This steady progress is the best way to create lasting change. Now, if you want to learn more about how to do these things, I've included a link in the description below for my free training about exactly what to do to lose weight and keep it off after 40. Here's the thing. Up till 40, it's easier and quicker and more alluring to go for drastic deprivation diets. It's easier to deprive yourself for a week and forget about habits, because habits take time to change, and that's boring, and who cares about the future? It's easier to focus on now, and deprivation weight loss happens now. Celebrities do these diets. It's exciting, but after 40, everything changes. Now the drastic deprivation stops working as well, and you see all the promises for what they really are. Empty talk. And you realize if you actually want to achieve the weight loss goals you set for yourself, that it's time to focus on changing your habits and your relationship with food, because that's the actual path to lifelong weight loss.